It's time for a little bit of blame pie, as my goodness gracious, there's plenty of blame to go around. I guess other than the pilot who got the plane there, that was about all that happened from a positive manner in Tennessee's standpoint. But the blame pie, how do you throw it around, Caleb Calhoun, after Tennessee's frustrating, disappointing loss to Missouri?
So we mentioned him, and I hate to do this. I rewatched the game on Saturday, and I was blaming the front seven at first. I'm not blaming the front seven as a whole. I gave 35% of the blame to just Elijah Herring. The Brady Cook, Cody Schrader show had everything to do with Elijah Herring never, ever, ever being in the right position. Here's the thing. You brought it up. He's not athletic enough, which is already a problem. But on top of that, he's young, so he's going to make some mental mistakes. That's not a good combination for a middle linebacker when you're playing an offense like this. So it showed.
No, I don't want to rip on one guy that's playing, I believe, out of position. I think that guy needs to be a defensive end tomorrow or today or whenever you're watching.
Linebacker. That's the issue, though.
Well, now I know they can't, but I know they don't have another dude. But if everything were perfect, that guy's playing defensive end, right?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And we don't know if he can play defensive end, but he's got a better shot there than he does at linebacker.
Got a better shot at punter than he does at linebacker. All right. Where else do we go blame pie-wise?
Another 35% goes to the run blockers, just run blocking. I told you the 2 third downs that were stopped because you should be able to get those 3rd and 1s if you're Tennessee. And that includes offensive linemen and tight ends, everybody who does run blocking. Then you had 3 drives killed, Dave, due to holding penalties. One in which Tennessee got to the 6. Another one where they were moving the ball, but then, look, Heupel's offense doesn't. Joe Milton is not Hendon Hooker, where you know this. One big difference, when you're playing behind the sticks, Joe Milton can't really do much once he's behind the sticks. You agree with that? Like,
yes.
You got to be able to get the 2nd and shorts and 3rd and shorts and things like that. And so the holding penalties just absolutely obliterated Tennessee on Saturday.
Nope, totally agree. And so that wraps up the blame pod. We divvied out all the blame.
3 more to go, just real quick. Offensive backfield, and that's everybody. Joe Milton and Dylan Sampson, that fumble. Jalen Wright, the fumble. The bad pitch on the option. They got to get 15% because that was bad. Another 10%. One more player on David you got to call out. Wesley Walker. Terrible with containment. The safety is a crucial part of containment in an offense like Missouri's where you have that zone read. Wesley Walker was always out of position. He had a busted coverage, too, that allowed for that deep pass to open the 3rd quarter. Big blame on him. And then I'm going to throw 5% on play calling. I think play calling was a really big atrocity over the weekend.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. Report card, as is on offthehooksports.com. I got quarterbacks at a C+, running backs an F. And I have trouble arguing with you. I mean, I know that Jalen Wright got kind of banged up early in the game, and they had to put Dylan Sampson in, but Wright then had the fumble. I have trouble arguing with that at all. Wide receivers, an A-. Let me get the
bright spot
offense
of the game.
Yeah, let me get the offense in here. I want to get your thoughts on Dante Thornton. Tight end, D+, offensive line, D-. Now, we had a question on the message board, Dante Thornton, any news on his injury? Not as of now, but we will let you know as soon as we know. But the rest of the group, I mean, just wasn't good. But let me get your thoughts on Dante Thornton. Did you see enough of him adjust to that football and make a fantastic catch while, by the way, his leg was getting twisted underneath him to say, Dante Thornton, I've changed my opinion. He can be a major contributor for the Vols in 2024. Did you see enough?
Yes, I saw enough.
I thought you'd say no. I did too. No. I thought like that guy was thrown into this situation. Physically, he probably wasn't ready. And yeah, I think he can be a contributor next year. I really do.
And he was hurt more than because Josh Heupel doesn't do us any favors by not giving us injury reports. So we didn't know how injured he was at the beginning of the year. I think he wasn't fighting for balls because why would you fight for balls if you could re-injure yourself long term? Nobody with a brain is going to do that. That's like a quarterback who has a hurt leg. That's like if Aaron Rodgers gets back in the game somehow this year and decides not to slide on a scramble. That's just stupid.
It's on offthehooksports.com. The defense, edge rusher, D+, linebacker, F. No argument there. We talked about Elijah Herring. Defensive back, C. Kicking game, C minus. The return game gets a D. But as far as the defense, without saying Elijah Herring's name, what was the biggest problem with Tennessee's defense on Saturday?
Well, yes, I already mentioned Elijah Herring and Wesley Walker.
No, you
but
said his
no,
name.
sorry. No. Okay, but that's not who I'm going. The other part that we have to talk about is, the edge rushers racked up some stats. James Pierce got a sack. Tyler Barron helped on a tackle for a loss. Joshua Josephs did too. But sacks and tackles for a loss were not what you needed in this game. It's Dave's favorite word, guys. It was gap integrity, and the edge rushers did not stay home when plays broke outside. Which, in case you didn't notice, guys, I gave the defensive tackles a B+, because guess what? What can defensive tackles do other than push things up the middle? I thought Tennessee got to push up the middle, Dave. Am I crazy for that? Or would I rewatch it? They got their push up the middle.
No, they got to push, and Norman-Lott played well. You had him actually as number 2 on our Torchbearers, which I want to get to. No, I thought he played incredibly well. I would have had Norman-Lott number 1. You had Jackson Ross number 1, followed by Norman-Lott, Dante Thornton at number 3, Jalen McCullough number 4, Joe Milton number 5. Why were those the Torchbearers, sir?
When in a game like this, you have to come down to who made the big plays. Joe Milton, you can say what you want about him not doing the right reads, but can we at least give him credit? He threw the ball well in the game. Joe Milton did throw the ball well throughout the game, honestly. And so I'm going to give him his props for that. Jalen McCullough, I mean, he had the interception on the first drive. The way the way that Missouri worked the passing game, most of those yards were to Cody Schrader out of the flat. You can't blame the secondary for that, can you?
No.
Yeah, and so I gave Jalen McCullough some.
Sorry, I don't want to pile on, but 9 times out of 10, that responsibility is the Mike Backer, which is Elijah Herring. I feel like this is becoming the Elijah Herring bashing show.
Well, and the other 10th time, it is on the free safety, Wesley Walker at that point, who was out of position himself a lot of times. But outside of Wesley Walker, I thought the secondary was fine, and Jalen McCullough was great. Dante Thornton, if Dante Thornton's in, he had one throw to him and made an amazing catch and gave Tennessee a lead. That's fine with me. Norman-Lott 2 sacks, and punter U is back, baby. Jackson Ross. And
yeah. And then somebody said Smoky Mountain Red on our message board. Bus driver for Torchbearer Award. Would you give the bus driver an award?
I don't know how quickly he got them to the game.
Yeah, we don't know what time they got there. They could have been late for that matter. So Spencer Riley will join us. Those are our Torchbearer Awards. You can follow the Vols at offthehooksports.com. So all this being said, can Tennessee beat Georgia? Can, not will. Let me ask you that question, Caleb. And it's brought to you by Andy Mason, AndyMasonRealEstate.com. Best prices, best service in the biz. AndyMasonRealEstate.com. Can they beat Georgia with all that we have discussed?
Well, I will save that for when we talk about it in the next segment because I got some thoughts.
All right. I like it.